Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hello, Sharon.
Hello, Adam.
Hello, Byron.
Good morning. How are we?
We're very well, thank you.
So, welcome.
Welcome.
Today we want to talk a little bit about tying into our last episode, which was all around people. So we thought, what better way to showcase the importance of people than doing it in our own business. So we're really excited to welcome Byron here today. We want to, I guess, draw the curtain back on the Juno brains and introduce the team. So today is all about Byron. So welcome.
No pressure.
There's literally no pressure.
Okay.
There's actually a lot of pressure. But anyway, the idea is that we are we're so focused on getting the right people, and we spend a lot of time and actually quite a lot of money to make sure that we've got exceptional people working in the business. And for us, we go, we sort of preface that, and I laugh because I said this in the last episode. It's, if we're going to advise businesses, we better have our own house in order. And there's an expression of, the plumber's toilet's always leaking. I laugh and I go, that's completely unacceptable. And so for us, it's about, if we are, giving advice to businesses around the importance, particularly of people, you guys should understand and meet our people and how amazing they are. So,
Yeah,
Sharon?
so today is about talking about you, Byron, hearing a little bit about your background, talking a little bit about what attracted you to Juno. Want to talk about your superpower or area of expertise, and then a little bit of a personal flavour about who you are outside of all that. So,
and I think just before, I think Byron's also had a haircut for the occasion, so you are looking fantastic.
Thank you very much.
So let's start with a little bit about a background about who you are, Byron, and what's kept you busy.
Lots has kept me busy. So I started my career in professional services. I was with a firm and I took them to Asia. I started up an office in Singapore. And then I had a really good opportunity present itself back in Brisbane, which is where I was from. It presented an ownership opportunity for me. So I moved back to Brisbane and joined a manufacturing and engineering business. After a few years there, took over as general manager, and 10 years later, we sold that business. So when I look back at that sort of journey, we took a business from 20 staff to 50 staff in that time. We doubled revenue. And I think like a lot of businesses, when we got to COVID, it was a real testing point for us. And it's a testing point in that we tested all of the initiatives that we'd put in place up until then. We didn't know we'd be testing all of them at the same time, but like all businesses, on day one, the orders stopped. But coming out the other side of it, we kept all of our staff, really proud of that. And what we saw was we actually had a rock solid, resilient business. And probably 12 months after that, we said, now's the time that if we want to exit, this is a really good time for us to show what we've built and take the opportunity to exit, which we did. And it was a really good exit. And then took the opportunity to move to Melbourne after that, which is where my wife was born. Did a lot of advisory, and that's where I crossed paths with Juno, and that's where I am today.
I just want to, something that you said there around you built a rock solid business.
Yeah.
What does a rock solid business look like?
So that's a Juno term that I've picked up. It's just there's a level of resilience that comes through trial and error, and a maturity that comes through a business that has had to really face challenges and test the systems and the people and the structures that we've put in place. So I think a rock solid business is financially strong, but also has a strong culture. Yep. And it's a business that is saleable, because if you can describe or present something that is clear to someone on the outside, then you're doing something right. So that would be my definition of rock solid.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. We've just stolen that, so it's our definition now.
Rock solid. I would have said killer, but I'm sure it's been used 1,000 times already.
And I mean, I guess that led you sort of here. So you've been with Juno now feels like a lifetime.
It does.
Which we love. It's been nearly a year. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
What attracted you to Juno in regard to going? You've had a professional services background. You sold a business very successfully. Moved to Melbourne. Why Juno?
I think Juno was. It was when I met Sharon, I knew within 5 seconds that there was something really unique about you. And then when I met Adam, I felt the same way. And then I learned that was exactly...
Like you said that.
Yeah.
I would have been disappointed.
It just chronologically running through it. But I think there was an alignment with you both and Juno. And I think it was really what I wanted to do and was trying to do. But you guys... the way you articulate it and the way you provide that to the clients really aligned with what I was trying to do and what I enjoy doing and what I get value out of, I suppose.
And I think, I've said this before, we had a huge amount, of applicants for the position as we tend to do. And I can't even remember how I think you emailed directly or something like that. There was a bit of a different approach, which evidently puts the page on the top of the pile. But again, going back to that same conversation, which is do the recruitment process, and Byron and I, we talk about this a lot, which is do a really great recruitment process, and then use your gut on the past sort of 4 or 5 candidates that could really be amazing, but there's just the nuance is slightly different. And that's not to say that when we both sort of first met, well, it's all our staff, not just Byron, we were like, this guy, but then we played it super cool.
Did we?
We did. I did for sure.
I will say that with Juno, and something which made sense to me was. It's something that I could have always used, or I could have used a long time ago. And this is what I say to all of my clients. It's not that there's anything wrong. It's just that I could have used a Juno. I could have used a Sharon, a Byron, an Adam in my time. And it would have just fast-tracked things. It would have made things better. And ultimately, it would have made things a little bit less lonely, which is a place I found myself quite a bit. So if I can offer that to other business owners out there and our clients, I think that's where I get a lot of satisfaction out of that.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that in terms of the person that sits at the top of a business. It is lonely, and that confidant, that person that they can bounce ideas off, the objectivity that someone else brings to the conversation is really powerful.
Yeah.
And I often think that people don't realise that they don't have that. And it's not until someone describes that, or perhaps they have the opportunity to talk to someone, that they go, wow, that's what that looks like. And you
Absolutely.
go, yeah, that's the power of Juno. So in terms of, we talk a lot about the collective intelligence that we bring as a business, and that's really the value that we drive back through to our clients because of that is again, really powerful. So when we talk about your area of expertise or the superpower or whatever you want to call it, how would you describe that about yourself?
I've thought about this a lot in the last 12 months, because I've always thought myself a really strong generalist. But, for me, the exit pathway is really important. And as much as I really enjoy talking to the exit pathway, it's just so important. And I like to think that it's a flavour, or it's something that I add to any engagement I have. So I think the discussion or the exit pathway is important. And I think also from a financial perspective, all of my engagements, most problems I'll always tackle with a financial lens. To start with, you more as a diagnosis, but you can't fix everything from a financial lens. But often there is a black and white diagnosis that a financial lens can apply, and that's either through visibility on a P&L or cash flow, or just having a tough conversation that needs to be had around finances allows for diagnosis and then problem solving or decision making on the back of it. So
yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think exits are really, that's a buzzword that I think we might trash later in this conversation. But exits are interesting, because when you go, do you want to exit your business? A lot of the automatic reaction is, oh, well, hang on, I don't want to sell my business. There are lots of different forms of exit. But when we talk about that, when we use that as an anchor point, it's really about a saleable or a very saleable business can also be an asset. It just really means the business, and one of the big things we always talk about at Juno, and we talk about this because Byron and I were at a client the other day, we talked about it, is around the business owner exiting out operationally, right? That is a form of an exit of a business. It's not selling it, it's just exiting operationally from the day-to-day. It just so happens that, generally speaking, a business that doesn't have the owner directly involved in the day-to-day is more valuable because it's easier to purchase because you're not having to rely on the goodwill of that owner still being in the business to help hand over the clients or the IP or whatever that is. So I think that there's a real anchor point to talk about exits, but not to go, you have to sell your business. And Byron and I were saying it's more around when you get there, you can sell your business or you can keep it as a cash cow. Either way, and I mean, it goes back to, your choice, and the slogan that we have is choose to work. It really comes back to that sort of scenario of it's not about selling your business or making 50 multiples or whatever it is. It's about having a choice to do what you want to do in your business and with your business, because a lot of businesses that we see don't have that choice. They have to work in their businesses. They have to keep driving their businesses. They can't, somewhat take a holiday. Like there's a real kind of cleanliness to the business that they either feel they have or that they actually have. So, I mean, we were talking about this with one of our clients around the business has gone through some really great growth, had a couple of months that sort of, maybe wasn't as good as it needed to be, and now is going through some significant growth again. And, we have an exit strategy, but it slightly changes, right? So we come back and we reassess what that is to re-anchor what that looks like so that we can keep driving the business towards that, because the type of work that is doing that this client is doing is changing, so that requires a big change sort of strategic direction, both from what we're trying to do, both from the types of staff that we're trying to recruit, and both from a personal perspective of what that exit will eventually look like.
So let's talk a little bit about you personally, and something that you can share with us in terms of something personal about who you are.
Something personal. So big into sports. In particular golf and rugby. Play it, love it. Well, I don't play rugby anymore, but everything, golf and rugby. Big Carlton Blues fan.
You did show up to the Juno client Christmas party with
I did.
Carlton. That was your first day actually on the job.
Controversial.
Controversial but gutsy.
Yeah, strong. That was definitely a strong start. Yeah.
Thick skin, so it's fine, and have to be as a Carlton supporter. But love my sport, love my coffee, Magics in particular. And I've got an 18-month-old. It takes up a lot of our time, but it really makes coming home from work, it gives perspective to everything we do. So
for sure,
I'd be remiss not to mention him.
So let's talk a little bit about, you talked a little bit before about your superpower, and that's getting businesses ready for exit, whatever that might look like. In terms of the clients that you're working with, is there a story that you can share with us around something that you're working on in that space with a client, or something that you can share in terms of challenges that a client has faced, what you've done with them, and what the outcome has looked like?
Yep. I think I'll talk to a client specifically, but in general, I think one of a challenge or a question we would get faced with regularly is, when is the right time to exit? And I think that's a really tough question to answer, not because there isn't an answer, just because it changes so rapidly. Personal circumstances, shareholder circumstances, the state of a business at any given time. So I think for me, and I come back to this, it's a business that is saleable or is exit ready, doesn't have to be sold or exit. It just gives you the choice. And really, a healthy business that is ready for exit will often be in a better financial situation than one that isn't. So I stress this often, not to try and push people out the door, but just to make sure that it's constant. If you're not thinking about it, there's nothing wrong with that, but having it front of mind allows you to be able to move quickly or be able to make good decisions with clarity around how your business is performing. So, a couple of clients do come to mind. I have a client I've worked with who, when I went in, they had a really strong revenue. They year-on-year growth with revenue, but their margin was really struggling. They were making less money. They were working more. And when I went in there, they sort of had the mindset that they wanted to be exiting within 5 years, and they just had no idea what that looked like. So I actually, by the time I'd finished working with them, we'd actually halved revenue, but doubled the bottom line margin and given an exit pathway. So that wasn't a business that would have been sold 100%. We set up a business with full visibility to an outsider to be able to come in and buy down equity in that business over time. It's been a really successful transformation of that business, and they now work a lot less and make a lot more money and are a lot more comfortable with the state of the future. Another client, probably at the other end of the spectrum, is one of our quite high growth clients, and have offers from prospective buyers coming out of their ears, but just lots of noise around those offers and not enough clarity on just how the financial health of the business, with enough clarity to be able to make a decision on when the right time to exit in. The work we've done with them have been around strengthening their operational structure, strengthening their financial visibility, and trying to distance the owners from the operational day-to-day of the business. We now have an ownership who are a little bit more strategic, full visibility of their business, and they've actually turned down offers because they know exactly the trajectory they need to go and where they want to go to. So it's about understanding where they currently are to be able to paint the picture of what exit looks like for them and being fully in control. So it's probably two different scenarios, but each client we work with has a slightly different flavour, but things can change quickly, and this visibility gives the choice to be able to act on these things when the time is right.
And I think just coming back to that, having been involved in quite a few exits, and we talk to M&A firms and stuff like that, and there's we try not to use the term build to exit because that's sort of, for me anyway, and for Juno, because we've talked about this, is we're polishing something up to exit. That's not what we really do, because that would then go, well, if we don't exit, we still have to deal with all the issues that we've just polished and made look good. And it's funny because there's a couple of clients that it's about, and we've had lots of conversations with private equity and M&A consultants and stuff like that, where we go, our job is to build a great business. If it gets purchased, fantastic. If it doesn't, we've still got a great business. And it's not really in the mindset of a brokerage or an M&A consultant or anything like that, because they want to exit. They want the business to exit because that's how they get paid. And that's, totally understandable, and that's what their job is. But, when we sort of take a sit back, it's not about, and that's why we kind of step away from, let's exit the business, because what we want to do is we want to build an exceptional business, right? That if the client so chooses, they can exit and have a liquidity event. That's another buzzword. Remember that.
Is exit really a buzzword that we use?
Not a liquidity event.
Okay.
Though. That's a
Okay,
very
fine.
buzzwordy. I feel like I've had that said to me 400 times this week. But really, it's about building a great, solid, robust business, because those businesses are desirable and those businesses get higher multiples. So it's this kind of funny thing that we're at, which is, yes, do we help businesses build to exit? 100%. But we build great business first and foremost to give the choice of whether you want to exit or whether you want to keep it as a cash cow or as a value business.
And I think about what you said, Byron, and it sounds. And I hate to say it sounds easy, right? The way that you describe it, it's like, yep, that's the process that you go through. How hard and challenging is that to do, though, to get a business that goes from operationally stepping out or putting some cadence around finance and visibility? Is it easy? Is it hard?
It's actually really hard.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Do you know why it's a little bit easier for us? Is because I know that doing it in your own business is really scary.
Yeah.
And that's the hard bit. And it's the trust that we build really quickly is that, trust me, we're going to create a bit of noise, a bit of mess, but we know what the other side looks like.
Yeah.
So stay the course
Yeah.
and you'll be much happier with the outcome on the other side.
Yeah.
And if a client came to us and said, we want you to help us exit, one thing we'd say is be careful, because what you're left with is something you might want to keep at the end. So, which obviously is a good outcome for everyone. But
Yeah, totally agree.
Wow. Here we are.
Yeah, let's fire some rapid questions at Byron and wrap this up.
Well, one of the
Okay.
issues is he's already answered one of my rapid fire questions.
That's
so
because you kept saying it though.
I'm going to change. I'm going to change one of them.
ask me again, I'll give you a different answer.
No. You won't. You can't, because it's part of your jam. Best ready?
Yeah.
Rapid fire means you have to answer. There's no thinking. It's just answer.
Okay.
Okay. Best piece of business advice you've been given?
Trust the process.
I reckon he heard. Most overrated business buzzword or Z?
Oh.
Liquidity event.
Look at founder.
Oh yeah, good one. Good one. Favorite cuisine?
Italian.
Yeah, good one. I like it. If Juno was a band, what instrument would you play?
Saxophone.
What?
That's crazy. Ben also would play saxophone too.
Oh.
I know.
There's going to be a fight over the sax.
Well,
It's not really a band. It's just a group of saxophone players.
Soloist saxophone.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yes.
good. I'm glad you clarified.
As a non-musical person, I don't know if that's a role.
A skill no one here knows that you've got.
You can pass.
Pass. Can I come back to it?
No.
I feel like we spend too much time together.
Yeah,
I feel like we're just open books now.
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well then you can pass on that one then. And you can maybe, think about it and you'll come back and we'll talk about it next
Okay.
week without you.
Yeah.
I think that today for us it's really showcasing the depth of experience that we have within the Juno team.
Correct.
We talk a lot about our unique proposition for Juno is around that collective intelligence and the value that we deliver back to clients as a result of having that depth of expertise across the team, is just showcased today in terms of the examples that you've given and the background that you have. So I think for us we get back to the importance of people, the importance of taking the time to get the right people in your business. And I think today really showcases, why we do that. And the caliber of people like yourself, Byron, that we get to join the business.
And I think without going too far off topic, that's one thing is getting the people. But what we sort of, this whole Monday meeting that we have, that we work with the collective intelligence, it's one thing to have the people. The second thing is, how do you actually extract that greatness from a group of people? That was for me to start, and when you joined, Sharon, that was really, really complicated. I mean, we have this Monday meeting that we're non-client facing, where we all get together, and as a business, an opportunity cost of having no one work on Mondays and no one be really client facing on Fridays, where we've got three days a week to kind of create that is challenging from a business perspective. But how do you actually get all these senior experts in the room to really sort of share that knowledge, advise each other and all that kind of stuff? That's been really challenging for us. And I think we've really we've nailed it down over the years, and we've really managed to sort of take all that and give that back to the clients. And one of the clients the other day was, they've obviously met all of us for different bits and pieces, and they're like, what's amazing that you can't get anywhere else? It's the breadth of experts coming in and helping me with my business, whether that be them or whether that be through and with me as their advisor. I sort of went home and I'm like, really, I gave myself a good pat on the back to go, what, that's exactly what we're trying to do. And when you start getting that feedback around, it's working and we're managing to get that collective expertise, and then the clients are managing to actually get the reward, which is the value of that, you kind of have to sit back and go, you know what? We set out to do that, we're achieving that, and as we grow, we're just going to get more experts, more intelligence, and more value for the client. So, super, super proud, business owner moment for me, where it's like you know, sometimes you go, you know, this is a long road, but then you get there and you're like, wow, yeah, great, it's working.
Clients are loving it.
Yeah.
Byron, thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Byron. Thank you for joining us, Sharon.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Fantastic. And high fives. Let's go. Ready? Whoa. Hey.